Welcome, my friends, to the world of Big Time, and Big Time is advertised as an RPG multiplayer game to save space and time. Now, in this game, you're a character, and you can technically play it by yourself, but it is definitely designed to have help from friends because the enemies can get quite difficult as you progress through dungeons. Now, what type of game is Big Time really? Well, it's kind of a split between a blockchain game and a regular AAA game title that is currently being built out. You do need an NFT pass to get started with this game, but then after that point, you can choose whether you want to just do the free-to-play game and treat it literally how you would with any normal game that doesn't have anything to do with crypto. So I think that's a good element to this game because it'll attract more players. But for those of you who are interested in the cryptocurrency side, blockchain gaming, and potentially even making some revenue from this, they have that element too. And what a lot of games have done, I think, wrong is trying to merge them together. And what you can see happen is people being able to pay to win, and that kind of ruins the game and the experience as a whole. Whereas this game, it's two separate elements, and when you're paying money in this game, it's more for the rare consumables and cosmetics, not something that's going to make you pay to win. So how would I describe Big Time? I'd describe Big Time as a dungeon-based game with a crafting element. So in today's video, we're going to break all that down for you, what it means and what you need to get started. We're going to talk about the marketplace, how to get involved with that, the gameplay, as well as taking you through some dungeons so you can kind of get the whole experience of the game for yourself. And then at the end of this video, in typical Fungible Games fashion, we're going to break down in four main categories from things like story, gameplay, sound design, game economy, if we think this is worth it for you to check out, and overall what to expect. Now, the game starts here in Time's End. You can look around, you see the beautiful graphics. I love the vibe of the overall map, the tall flowing grass, the trees, the interaction with the sun. Overall, it feels really pleasing being in here. But then when you get started with the game, you have to go through a tutorial mode first, and you'll notice there's different things around you here, so you can go up to the different computers and check out your armory and stuff as well. And later in this view, we're gonna show you how to go into different portals, as well as going into your own metaverse space called the Space. Now, at the start of the game, you have a choice of four main characters, but you're not locked in this one forever because they have what are called timepieces, which is kind of like in this game, instead of just leveling up one character the whole time, you have the option to level up multiple. So in Big Time, it's kind of like you've got an account, and that's where you do everything, but then your specific characters, they're called pocket watches. So all that being said, don't worry too much about which class you choose because throughout your leveling up of the game, you'll be able to do different classes. But why would you take a ton of time leveling up one character only to abandon it to the next? Well, as you get further in the game, higher levels, you can go into more difficult portals or dungeons that have higher rewards, and you might get a specific pocket watch that has a boost to a whole bunch of areas, so it's worth starting again from that character if you want to grind this game even longer. But back to the classes themselves, we have the Time Warrior. These characters are tough and specialize in using strong attacks. Next up is the Chronomancer. These are similar to magic users or mages, and they can shoot with their magic ability across distances. Next up is the Quantum Fixer. They play the role as healer. And for example, as you're leveling up and the dungeons get harder and harder, oftentimes these final bosses or the objectives that you have to beat are quite difficult and deal a ton of damage. So it's really important to run away, take a knee, heal up, and having a Quantum Fixer here to help is nice. And the final class is Shadowblade. These characters are like ninjas, having super speed, being able to dive into a skirmish, hitting, and then getting out quickly to avoid more damage, and overall just a fun character. Now, after you pick your character and go through the tutorial, it's now time to explore and dive into some beginner dungeons. So let's have a look at what a dungeon looks like. So to get into one of these dungeons, you go up to a portal and hold E, and then that brings you into the grinding element of this game where you're trying to get loot, things like in-game gold and special items. So as you can see walking around here, the main thing that we're looking at is the landscape. The graphics, they're a little bit of that cartoony style, but really nice. And then the monsters, they've got defined lines. We don't see any lagging from that, so that's really nice to see. And as you can see, not only do you have beautiful daytime scenery, there's also dungeons in caves and just different story elements there. And like most games, when you first come in, you have a bit weaker enemies. As you go, they get stronger. And on the right here, you can see the different challenges we have. So as we're going around this dungeon, sometimes there'll be ore to mine, so we can mine ore while we're here. And then as we're progressing deeper into the dungeon, we defeat all these enemies. Like we talked about earlier, the more people you have in your party, the more enemies that will be around. But when you're all battling them together, it makes it easier because you can tag team and you get more loot as well. So a bonus there. And then usually, depending on how long these take, it's roughly 30 minutes. Sometimes it can be longer. And then you fight the final bosses, which are quite hard, and oftentimes you have to run back and take a knee and heal. But usually with your team party, you'll be able to get it. And then when you finish the mission, you'll have a chance of not only getting more loot, but sometimes you can get NFTs as well. So that's the overall vibe of how a dungeon feels. And whether you're a free player or a player hunting for big time, you'll get that same type of feel, but your rewards will be different. So if you're playing for free, you'll still get in-game gold and items and have a chance to get more rare items and customizations. But if you want to be able to earn those big time tokens, you have to become a token hunter. Okay, so in order to get into portals, sometimes you have to defeat the nearby enemies. So we'll just button smash a little bit more. This guy will be gone. There we go. So to go into a portal, you just walk up to it, hold E. Perfect. Now we're gonna go inside. And it's nice that we've got different instances in the game as well. So we get to escape the main world here and go into a dungeon and check out how these are like. Okay, so this is a quest or a space. The purpose of these is to go and do whatever it says on the side. So right now I'm supposed to find a wandering clocky. And in terms of glitches, every once in a while an item will fall through the map, but that's pretty rare. There might be some glitching and seeing through the map, but overall they've gotten pretty much most of those bugs out of the way. Oh yeah, the controls are really straightforward. You'd have everything that you'd expect. Takes a bit of time to get used to the combos. Shift for running, so you can do fast gameplay through that to get through these quests faster. Okay, so in terms of gameplay, you've got things like your combo bar, so you have to wait till it flashes green to hit it. And so that's kind of a unique, because it's not just, you know how some games you just smash your click button and hope for the best. This one, they're trying to make the gameplay moves a little bit more dynamic. You can do your normal things like running here, jumping, exploring around. I'd say things are relatively smooth, and you can even see from the graphic side, we're putting footprints and stuff on this. So I'd say overall, it's relatively seamless. A few months ago, things were a little bit more glitchy, but like they say at the start of the game, like this is a game that they're currently building out, so don't expect everything to be perfect right away. So considering where we are in the game build itself, I'd say it's quite impressive. And then not only do you have things like your sword abilities, you also have magic. So we see this guy coming here. He's coming right at me, so we'll hit him. Good. So we have mana, which is energy, and they have a cooldown period. So you can see the blue bar in the top corner, that's the mana bar, and the red bar is our health bar. So we just shot one of those, and I'll just shoot one again so you can see in the bottom of the screen, you can see 3, 2, 1, and we've got it back. So you can't just mash magic energy like crazy. You've got to take time to let it build back up. So for example, now I'm just gonna speed run through the quest here, and we see the map. We're 115 meters away from this objective. Okay, so here is the wandering clocky. There's 2 of them. We're just doing our combo here to take out these wandering clockies and then finish this quest. So for the game itself, we have 2 elements. One is physically playing the game like you'd expect from a normal AAA game where you go through levels and things like that. But with the other element is having the online marketplace, the cryptocurrency token, and some being able to buy some things to speed up time and stuff like that. So let's quickly go through it here. So here's the landing page at bigtime.gg. Get a pass. So for these passes, if you want to get an NFT right off the bat, they're $450. So that's really expensive. But if you've got the money and just want to do the fastest way, that is the fastest way. I have seen things on Binance Chain where you can get passes for $70. I haven't done it myself, but I've heard of that. So if you want to look into something like that, you can do that for around that price point. Or what a lot of people are doing for free passes is you can watch Twitch live streamers do live streaming of Big Time, and throughout the course of the day, they'll drop live stream codes in their Twitch streams as well. So that gives you an opportunity there, as well as if you want to take a little bit of time and get to see what's happening in Discord, and you start posting over a couple days, you can often go in for the ask on the Discord and get a pass there. And if you're going to be making a video like as you play, then that's even more incentive. But that's it from the pass. So $4.50 to free, just depending how much time you have. So as we scroll down here on the main page, we can see that Big Time is about crafting. So when it comes to crafting in Big Time, there's three main types. So you have your forge here, and as you can see below, we've got this link of swords. So forge is specifically for your weapons. Now, you're not doing any big power-ups and things. They don't want this game to be OP. They want to keep it fair and consistent for everyone. So what you're doing is cosmetic upgrades. And one element later that we're going to talk about in a minute is the marketplace. And a goal of having this is, one, the bragging rights of having like a cool skin, as you've seen in things like Counter-Strike. Unique gun skins can go for $1 million. So when there's demand for this, once the game gets popular, it could be quite valuable. But we start here at going uncommon all the way to unique 1 of 1. So there's going to be speculation that this will go up in value over time. So if you care about cosmetics or you're interested in making money in the game, the forge is something that you might be interested in. If you just want to play this game for fun, you can pick up different rarities as you're getting loot in dungeons and stuff, but you don't have to go too much into it. Now, next up is Armory. And here again, it's in the free side of the game, but you can create unique looks and cosmetics for your armory as well. And then the final thing is the Time Warden. So this is where the cryptocurrency element of Big Time comes in. So as we can see here, the Time Warden's mysterious powers have been revealed to the Time's End. Time's End is where you start in the game. Craft and upgrade hourglasses to collect Big Time, the key component in crafting and collection. So this is where the money factor of things come in. So you're gonna need a Time Warden and you're gonna need an hourglass. And these are, for instance, purchasable in the in-game shop. So if you wanna be able to earn the cryptocurrency Big Time, this is where you equip the hourglass and you have that running as you do different quests in the dungeons. Another unique feature that this game has is rentals here. You can actually rent out workshop and space. And space is your own personal metaverse, but you need room in order to do more crafting. So space itself is an NFT as well. So right now I'm in my own personal metaverse, and we can go in and we can collect items here. So within the economy itself, you can craft items and get larger scale items. You can find items in game. Essentially, there is a lot to do here. Not only that, you have NFTs, you can find some in game, you can buy NFTs, you've got gold, which is your in-game currency, and then you've got the big game token. So you can buy that on the marketplace, as well as equipping hourglasses and grinding it out in the game. But because there's so much here, they also have an in-game marketplace where you can buy and sell things for gold, and then an external marketplace where you can buy things with dollars. So another thing that you need in this game is space. And space, for instance, sells for $230. So it's kind of a really high barrier to entry. So you need to be within your space to use the Time Warden to craft hourglasses, and you can equip those to earn more Big Time token in the game, which you could sell on the secondary marketplace. You can also do things like craft NFTs, which you can sell on the secondary marketplace to kind of become that digital entrepreneur. But for this game, if you want to dive into it on that scale, it's worth spending some hours going through the menus. One thing I will tell you is I've seen a few breakdown reviews on people who have taken the time and got all the NFTs and things like that, and they're spending around $2,000 to get all started up, and then grinding out their first month is pretty much break even, and then they make money slowly on that. So if you're looking as like a play to earn game, it got nerfed over Christmas holidays because people were making too much money and they were worried about the economy of the game. So right now it's more of like break even or maybe make $500 a month if you're grinding a lot. So it's definitely not for everybody from that perspective, but at the same time you got to be really careful, because if you make it too valuable for players like we did with Axie Infinity, it tanked the economy because so many people were getting rid of the game token to sell it on the secondary marketplace right away. But all that being said, in terms of the economy, this one is super robust. They've got the in-game gold, like we were talking about, the Big Time token that you can earn in-game, buy on the secondary marketplace. You've got hourglasses, and then another thing that you can get rewarded with in this game is airdrop. So if you're playing for a long time, doing lots of quests and things like that, the team will send send you an airdrop. And then in terms of the chain Big Time is on, it is on Ethereum, so you'd want to have an Ethereum wallet set up. Let's head on over to Open Loot here, their marketplace. As you can see here right away, for as things are going in rarity, the more expensive they are. So here we've got an exotic rank Time Warden, and this is currently selling for $18,000. Now that's a crazy amount of money for something like this, but it's because we're still in the price discovery phase, and it's near a higher rarity. So like we were talking about a second ago, if you want to earn Big Time in this game, you need to equip an hourglass. And here is an example of an hourglass that is the third rarity. It goes common, uncommon, rare. And so for the third rarity, you're looking at $150 to run that. So if you want to make money from this game, and if you want to kind of grind it out for that, there's definitely going to be an initial startup cost, but it just depends how you want to do this game. Do you want to do it grinding for fun? You can do a little startup cost to free, or if you actually want to make money, that's when you're looking at spending anywhere from like $250 for some basic things in time crystals, all the way up to like a few $1,000s if you want to stack up everything. So there's something for everyone, really. So at Fungible Games, we do walkthroughs, game overviews, things like that. And one thing that we want to touch on all of these games is not only how to play it, but overall 4 main pillars. So we talk about graphics and sound, we talk about gameplay, then the story, as well as the game economy. So here with Big Time, we are walking around, and in terms of the graphics, I mean, the past few months, what they've done is really impressive. So here we can see these trees, the sun rays coming through, you can see and hear the grass as you walk through it. You've got bushes, the sword swipes, you've got magic. So given where the game is, I'd rank these graphics as a 4. It's not like pure realism, but it's that cartoon world. Just as I'm out exploring, here's an example of a waypoint. So as you get around the different parts of the world, you can set waypoints to do it faster. But specifically for this, if we go up, you see little flowers, things like that around, different monsters, and there we go, we just found a little place and you got gold here. And like just little things with the gold flying out of the character when you pick it up. It's just a little bit of extra attention to detail. And then in terms of the sound, it's kind of got like a whimsical story sound. I feel like it goes really well together with the game. So I'm definitely impressed with Big Time on that. And for the next category, we have story. So for something like Big Time, I'll give them a score of 3. So the main point of the story is to go through all these quests, craft, level up in gear, and to save the timeline and history. So the reason why I give it a 3 and not a full score is something like if you picture Call of Duty where you've got a campaign, it really brings you into the story. There's cut sequences that carry you along and you really feel like you're part of that campaign. Whereas with Big Time, you've got more of the open world, just doing quests and fighting people in dungeons and things like that. So it's got a unique story, like I was saying, especially for a crypto game, but not that fully all-encompassing story. In terms of like historical figures and things like that. So if you can see in the background here, we've got Benjamin Franklin's tower. So things to do with electricity, light, and time. They've kind of brought those characters in for like Easter egg type value. So they're trying to build up the story there. So for this specific game in terms of story, you don't need to know any historical events or things like that. They've kind of created their own timeline and story for you to engage in. And then in terms of the actual amount of time to play the game, so we referenced Mighty Action Heroes in our last walkthrough. That's, you know, you just play a couple rounds like skirmish for fun. Each round's like 10 minutes, whereas this is a much larger scale game. So if you want to grind it out full time, it's going to take weeks to build the game. So it's definitely like a lot bigger, and that's why they call this one a AAA title. So another cool part of the game is when you see one of these purple and gold prestige portals here, you can walk up to it and it says the requirements to get in. So you need at least 3 cosmetics of a rarity between a rare and a unique equip, at least 2 cosmetics equipped that's craftable, and then 1 cosmetic equipped with from season origin, and an entry fee of 4 tokens. And then as you can see, they're only here for a limited amount of time. This one's here for another minute and 30 seconds. It's the Sand Demon Layers portal, and why you'd want to go into a prestige portal is because it gives you the opportunity to get more rare loot, and that's why it has requirements to enter. So this is step by step for you how you can become a token hunter if that's what you're after. Now, step one, you have to get space. So this is going to be different for everyone. If you've got time on your side, you can spend time grinding through the game and trying to get it in loot. However, if you don't want to take time in doing that, because who knows, you might get it quickly, it might take a long time, you can buy it in Marketplace. So if you're a bit crunched for time, it's probably best that you start off by purchasing this one in Marketplace. Step two is unlocking a timekeeper. And to do this, you can grind up in game and unlock a timekeeper, or you can skip that step and just purchase it in the Marketplace. And step three is where you equip the hourglass, but this adds another element to the game in terms of times. There's hints at Benjamin Franklin, Einstein, fun little Easter eggs like that as you're exploring the game, you can find them. Also, it means like physically using your time. And this is another element of the game where you get to make the choice between waiting a long time and speeding things up. Another element called time crystals, which are purchasable by dollars. And waiting for an hourglass to fill up could take a lot of time, so you can go into the Marketplace and using real money, US dollars, you can purchase time crystals. And you can get them in packs ranging from just a few for like $5 all the way to spending $100 or $500 for up to 70,000 of them. Now we have step four is you're ready to be a token hunter. So now equip your hourglass, go into the dungeon and try and collect those rare NFTs, as well as getting the big time token as a reward for running this hourglass. One key thing to remember though is only equip your hourglass when you're going to be doing the grinding for the big time tokens, because there's no worse feeling than having it equipped and letting it run down when you're not hunting big time tokens. So make a mental note for yourself for that one. And then of course, like we talked about in step three, when you run out, it's time to go visit your timekeeper and get stocked up again, whether you want to just wait time or spend those time crystals. Now, speaking of big time tokens, how much are they worth on the secondary marketplace? Well, if you are a token speculator, we can see they launched, they pumped to 30 pretty quickly, as we talked about in our last big time video. They hung around 15 until the market started taking off. And then of course we had that euphoria GameFi phase in November and December. Alex Becker, Elio Trades, lots of other YouTubers, Neo Tokyo talked about it. So we shot up. And then now post halving, we're kind of finding an equilibrium. So right now the token is currently worth 30 cents and it seems like it's holding okay. However, if we don't have any excitement, because this is a crypto game, it's still tied to Bitcoin. If the market goes down, just know that this token price will go down as well. So if you are looking to make some real money and sell these big time tokens, just know that if you're forecasting right now at 33 cents, well, who knows how long that'll last. If the market kind of goes sideways, then the big time token could go back down to 20 cents or 10 cents, depending on how long the market goes sideways for. But if the market comes back, all these big time tokens that you're grinding for could be worth, 60 cents per token, maybe even $1 per token one day. However, if you're new to this and potentially making money from tokens, one thing that you want to look up is the circulating supply here. That means only 8% of the tokens are in the market right now. So 92% still have to come onto the market. So if you are figuring in the selling tokens into your strategy, make sure you go to their tokenomics and you physically look when the vesting periods are. So you know if like all these private sale investors are getting a bunch of tokens like, March 30th, not financial advice here, but it might be a good idea to unload some of those before a vesting cliff. So there's just a lot that comes to these type economies if you're trying to make real money on it. So speaking about making money in this game, if that's something you want to do, there's three main ways to do it. The first way is grinding it out in dungeons and trying to get loot crates with a unique NFT. Now, this does take a long time because you don't know when an NFT drop will happen. You'll still get all your gold, you'll still get your experience points and things like that, but it might take a while for an NFT to go there. But if you like grinding the game, that is a way that you can make money by waiting till you get an NFT. Hopefully it's a really high rarity and then selling it on the secondary marketplace. The second way is becoming savvy in the marketplace itself. Now this exists for so many games as well as real life items outside of gaming where you're looking to arbitrage, where you're spending time in the marketplace and you're starting to see what things are selling for low values and what people are buying high values. And then it's kind of that buy and sell game where you take some time and you try and buy items that get listed where people, they list them too low, and then you can list them for higher, and sometimes you can make 20, 40, 50, 100, 200% on your money just from one flip. But there's a little bit more risk with this strategy because you have to put out money to get something and you don't know when the person is going to buy it and if they will buy it for a higher price. And the final way is utilizing the big time token. Now there's a few different ways that you can get this. A common way is just sending it off to the secondary marketplace and selling it for ETH, and then boom, you can either keep that ETH or turn that into USDC or USDT, and then you've got your money that way. Another way starts off that step where you sell your big time tokens into ETH, but then you use this new money to strategically buy things in game. And here, this is where you can be like, okay, maybe I'm gonna buy these certain NFTs that I couldn't find in the game and rent them out to people. And then you can earn money from renting and things like that. And then the final way with the token is actually spending the token physically itself. Well, that brings us to the end of this big time walkthrough. Please let us know in the comments below if there's something you'd want clarification on, because we'll have either me or our writers go in and clear that up for you. Also, this is one of our first game reviews, and we're going to be doing so many more over the next year. So if there's any elements that you'd like to see more of, we didn't cover enough, and you want to see more just like grinding it out and playing the game, or more listicles, let us know on what you'd like to see more in these reviews. And if you want to read more about Big Time, head on over to fungible.games where you can check it out there. And finally, thanks so much for making it through this video. We hope you found it very helpful. And as a thank you, please hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on the next video.